Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a Wednesday night edition of the Sports Exchange. If you're looking at your clock, yes, we're at 8 o'clock tonight, not 9 o'clock. Reality of the situation is July 4th coming up, and I hope everybody out there has a good time with the food, the family, and all the rest of the business. Meanwhile, let's take care of business. And you can look at the title. It says it all. NBA Insanity, NHL Tidbits, and a whole lot more. Well, not a whole lot more, but NBA Insanity and NHL Tidbits. With that said, talk about Dr. Juliuserving, Michaeljordan, of course, the James family, do a little bit of Florida Panthers as well. The Seattlekraken make the news, and Nathan's and joeychestnut to get in there. Let's bring on the crew really quickly. Candy Ebling, welcome back. We just came back from a grueling trip to Greensboro, North Carolina for the National Sports Media Association event. Pretty good event, but glad to be back home in Sunshine State. Candy.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It's glad to be back. You know, it's always good to get on the road, but it's always for some reason, it always feels good to come back home to your own bed.
Yeah, it sure does. All right, JB Ellis.
What's going on? Glad to see you guys got back well. Glad to see tomorrow is the 4th. Nice to be a little bit earlier tonight, but I think we're going to have a great show as always.
Well, I know we're going to have a great show. When you see the topics, folks, if you're out there, get in the chat room. This show is loaded. Right, George Eichhorn?
Hey, happy 4th, everybody, on the 3rd. And yes, I'm glad, too, that you're back.
Thanks.
We'll talk about your trip.
All right, let's get to it. Okay, first of all, let's get to Dr. Juliuserving went on record and said if LeBron James didn't chase rings, he would be in my top 10 all time. I got him ranked number 15 behind Scottiepippen. My goodness. Joe, what do you think of that comparison? Is Dr. J right or is he wrong?
He's wrong. Listen, if anybody knows anything about me, I don't like LeBron James. But he's one of the top 5 players of all time. And, you know, it's hard for me to go back before I was born to talk about Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, but I'm going to put those two with Kobe, Michael, and LeBron. You know, and there's probably other old-timers that I'm forgetting that may be in that category, but those are the obvious top 5. You know, no matter what order you want to put them in, depending on what your thought process is. To me, it'll always be Jordan. You know, what he did, I thought was unbelievable. I don't think anyone comes close. You know, if you could probably sit here and argue for Bill Russell, and I'd have to probably say I can't disagree. Probably do the same thing for Wilt. Kobe and LeBron, I don't think you can make the argument that they're the best. You know, even though I love Kobe and I can't stand LeBron, you know, I still think that they're top 5 players, but I don't think that they're 1, 2, or 3.
Let's go to the chat room. Walter Mitchell, happy Independence Day. Thanks for spending part of your night with us. Because it's his criteria. Okay, let's go on with your other one. LeBron isn't in my top 5, mainly because you have to get it done in June. Walter Mitchell, I have a feeling you're going to be a superstar in this chat, buddy. All right, well, let's go ahead. Good stuff off the bat by Mr. Walter Mitchell. Let's keep it rolling. All right, George, what do you think?
I don't agree. Dr. J, I admire you, Dr. J, but I don't know where you're coming from on this one. I wouldn't dare put him down that low. LeBron, again, yeah, not one of my all-time favorites, but he has done a hell of a job. Obviously, he's been in the news lately with the situation with his son being drafted and all that talk. And you know what? Dr. J was in an era where unfortunately he didn't make as much, nearly the amount of money that they're making now. But I'm not saying that had much to do with his putting LeBron down that far on his list, but I don't think that's justified. I really don't. I mean, yeah, sitting back, yeah, he should have won more rings, more even than he has had. But I'm just saying that because he is so talented, and they also put a lot of talent around him on the teams, on the rosters that he's been, you know, and he's been into the championship round for so many years. But I'm just saying that no, I don't agree with Dr. J. I don't know what. I just don't do it. I don't do that. And I'm like Joe. I mean, I'd have to put him right up there, you know, out of the guys from nowadays. Kobebryant and LeBron are the two that really stand out. Of course, Michaeljordan would be number 1 for me.
Okay, Candy. Well, before you do that, much but Walter Mitchell's coming up. Think about it. When we are comparing greats, usually the number are the championships. Now what you do when the championships is on the line. You know what, Walter, you're really on fire tonight. Plus, how many did LeBron played with at least 10 Hall of Famers? Boy, this guy's on a roll. We need more Walter Mitchells in the chat room. Joshua Dore. All right. I'm glad he got in. Just in time. You'll have hockey shortly. Joshua Dore, thanks for being on. All right, Candy, keep it rolling.
So I don't know that I'd put LeBron in my top 5, but probably in my top 10, not 15. I don't think I'd put him as low as Dr. J is putting him. You know, like you guys have said, he's played on some good teams with some good supporting cast, and I think that makes a big difference.
Right.
And I think the game has changed a lot, and it has favored LeBron, because I don't know that he could play back in, let's put it, in the Bad Boys era, because I think he'd get hurt a lot. To be honest with you, I don't think he plays as physical of a game as as they did back then. So I don't know that when you're talking about your top 5, you're talking about a player that could play in any era. In my book, if you're going to put him in the top 5, he could play in any era. And LeBron might, but I don't know how he would if he would succeed in any era. And that's where I would draw the line.
All right, Josh Dore, just to give you an idea when hockey's going to be on in segments 4 and 5, but there is a lot of good hockey topics that I want to address too. I'll just say this about LeBron James. Okay. All right, go ahead. Joe, you want to ask?
No, I mean, the scary thing is he has the body to play physical. He's built. He's probably one of the biggest guys physically in the league. Yet he plays like it's soccer. If anyone got a chance to watch the Euros or the Copa, you know, you see what happens in soccer. You barely get touched and guys flop. You know, he'd be a great soccer player with those moves. But physically, he's gifted. He's one of the biggest guys in the league. So, you know, I wonder if he could play in previous eras because of that. But right now, obviously, we could never expect it because he's never showed it.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he goes ahead and fares with Bill Laimbeer, Rick Mahorn, and to name a few other ones. We've got Charles Barkley would rough him up a little bit too. And some of those Lakers great Kurt Rambis used to mix it up. Reality is, as I think I'll go along with Candy more toward top 10. There's no way I'm not putting a top 10 without Larry Bird, Magic Johnson in it. You know, you have to. Number one, those two guys changed the league to begin with. Never heard of tape delay? Okay. Once upon a time, it was on tape delay. As far as LeBron James is concerned, he's been chasing championships. He's only got 4 in his pocket, and I think he should have a lot more. Do I think that he has a body, like Candy said, could play? We'll get to that in just a moment. But as I talk about Michael Jordan, but the reality is I'm going to go back to Walter Mitchell. He probably could, because the game was taught different back then, but that's water under the bridge, probably. But again, that's just hypothetical at this particular point, Walter. But
we'll never know.
Again, but yeah, right. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Right, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and transition over to Michael Jordan on what players would survive in the 1980s. He does say LeBron James, by the way, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. Well, all right. So we'll start where we began this thing to begin with. Happy July 4th, Dusty. What do you think about this one, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, so the 4 names you mentioned were Dirk. I don't know. I don't see him being very physical, but I didn't watch enough of him play. Tim Duncan, I could see. He looked like he could play in any era. He just did his job. Very lunchbox type guy. Who are the other 2?
All right, well, I'll go over the list again. You got LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki.
Kobe, he did whatever it took, so I could definitely see him. LeBron, I don't know. Like I said, what I said to Candy, he has the physical aspects to be able to do it. The question is the will, because he's never shown anything where he's willing to take a body or, draw somebody into him. Everything is always a flop. So that's where I wonder. He's much more finesse, especially for a guy who's so built.
Hey, George.
Well, again, these are all hypothetical things. I would definitely say all the names on the list, I believe, could play that. I really do. They're all very strong individuals. They're physically, they're there. Like you said, JB, LeBron may not play the physical game as we would like to see him play it, but he is physical. And if he had to adapt to it against those guys, And in that era, I say he probably could do so. There's again, it's so hard to judge people on different eras. And I think that what happens is these guys, as they get older or they retire, they sit back and they do interviews and they start thinking about this stuff, like Dr. J. And now you said Scott Michaeljordan. And that's good, because what is that doing? That is making the NBA, and it doesn't need a whole lot more pushing, but it's making them push more in the headlines during the off season. And that's good, because the league wants to be carried around 24/7, 12 months a year, that sort of thing. So I like these discussions, and it is interesting when you hear them from guys that are all-star Hall of Famers like that,
Right.
Dr. J and Michael. This is all hypothetical, but Scott, I'd say all the ones that you mentioned, yeah, I think they could.
Well, let's face reality. The worst kept secret on the planet when I tell you that the old guys resent the new guys because they're making a lot more money and they build a game. I mean, there's a built-in resentment there. So guys like Michaeljordan and Dr. Julius-Erving are certainly going to take their shots when they can. And in both of these instances, they have valid points. All right, Candy, go ahead.
So let's face it, Kobe had such a work ethic. There is no doubt that he could play in any era, because he would do whatever he needed to be able to play in that whatever era. He would practice all the time. Dirk, I think, could play, because he played a little bit. He did play a little more physical. I've seen him playing games. As far as it's Dirk, LeBron, Kobe. Oh, Tim Duncan could play, I think, in any era too, because he was another one of those hard workers, down to earth, like LeBron. The only thing that I wonder about him, besides, like JB said, we haven't seen his physicality as much.
Right.
We've seen more of the flop side. Is I don't know how well he would mesh on a team with some of those before, because I think he has a little bit more of an ego than any of the other guys. All the other guys you mentioned, none of them have the ego that LeBron has. Right. And I don't know how well other old school guys would team up with him, and how well they'd go for that kind of me attitude. I think it'd be interesting. I just don't see. I don't know if he could do all the other eras. I think all the other guys definitely could.
Imagine, Candy, just imagine for a second if we could pick him up and place him on that 92 Dream Team. I don't think he'd fit in.
No.
The other guys, everyone else you said would do whatever it took. Whatever the role that was given to them would be perfect. And if I'm correct, Chuck Daly was the coach of that team, right?
You're more than correct, pal.
Yeah. So I mean, if Chuck said, Tim, all I want you to do is stand there and rebound. Never touch the ball except for rebounds. Tim would be like, "You got it, Chuck."
Yep.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right. The only thing I'll add to this, because you guys have done you guys and gals have done a good job. Kobe's a lock. Tim Duncan's a lock. Marginal with Tim Duncan. LeBron James, no. Candy, go ahead and give us a station break.
So if you are seeing this, if you see that red subscribe button down by George, that means you have not subscribed to us. I don't know why. Typically, Monday nights we do baseball. Tuesday nights we do football. Wednesday nights we do Sports Exchange, where we talk any different sport, all of them, including some that you wouldn't think are sports, continue to keep watching, because we'll be talking about some of those later in the show. And Thursday nights, typically we do Fire Up, so we talk about all the different sports too. We are taking tomorrow off for the 4th of July. We want to say happy 4th of July to everybody that is currently watching. If you'd like to listen to podcasts, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. iHeartRadio, Google, Apple. The sponsor of tonight's show is the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company, that published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Madmouth, wrote it. George Eichhorn wrote the foreword. And there's even some pictures in there.
Did.
You did, and you did a good job, George.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
That was the easy part.
Go get it. I'm Amazon, Google, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple. let's see what else do I want to talk about tonight. Go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can see the writings of George Scott. I think even JB has an article or two up on our website, and my pictures. Great to have us. And also go to sidelinesports.net. That's JB's.
Sidelinesportsnet.com.
Sorry,
Sideline Sports. There was a net in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a very strange name because you can only get what's available. So it's sidelinesportsnet.com, and Candy did an amazing job making it look wonderful.
Thank you. If you missed any of this, it's all scrolling out around the bottom. If you want to advertise on this show or sponsor us, call Scott 954-304-4941. You could always email us too at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Back to you, Scott.
Yeah, don't forget Twitter X / at Tribune South. Walter Mitchell. All right, Bo, welcome.
Hey, welcome, Bo.
Looking forward to seeing you pretty soon. We're talking to you next. Walter Mitchell. Yes, look at Tatum, 300+ million. That's more than the entire league. 19, yeah. Don't forget, Walter, the league was almost broken in 79. Although this Walter Mitchell's making a good case to become an NBA analyst. So if you're ever interested, Walter, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to include you on one of these shows. We're a little bit shorthanded on basketball, but we talked about it when the situation presents itself. So, Walter, you've certainly been a great addition tonight. Looking forward to seeing more of your commentary as time goes on. With that said, topic number 3, the last basketball topic. Then we're going to go to the sport on frozen pond. Bronny James has signed a 4-year, $7.9 million rookie contract with the Lakers. LeBron also gets a 2-year, $104 million max deal with the Lakers. All right, you know what? I don't know, Walter, you want to comment on this first? We'll put it back to Joe Ellis. He's been numero uno on all the NBA topics. How insane is Bronny's situation? My goodness.
So as I was watching the draft, I was waiting for anyone in the NBA to show that Rich Paul doesn't run the NBA, because Rich Paul orchestrated Bronny James to go to the Lakers. He told everyone else if they drafted him, he was going to go play in Australia. He only worked out for Phoenix and the Lakers.
Right.
And, there were other comments about how him and LeBron run the Lakers. Then, the Celtics had the pick right before the Lakers. And how fitting would it have been if you're the Celtics to go ahead and pick LeBron's son? And you know what? Who cares if he makes your roster? If they want to send him to Australia, bye. You don't need him anyway. You just won the championship. You're good enough to win again anyway. So it was the perfect spot because it's a second-round pick that probably won't make the NBA anyway. So I thought that would have been the perfect pick to kind of show Rich Paul who runs the NBA. But the Celtics didn't do that. And we knew the Lakers were going to pick him. And, all the talk, LeBron's going to take a reduced salary so that we could get, some stars to the Lakers so they can put a run on. That went out the window when they announced LeBron took, $104 million, the max contract for the next 2 years. Mr. Selfish himself, the over-the-hill guy, superstar who's past his prime, that's trying to be GM and have his family play for the team. It's an utter joke. Rich Paul should be, not allowed to be an agent. The fact that he can tell the NBA what to do. What Adam Silver is doing, I don't understand how he hasn't said something, how he hasn't made a public statement about this. The fact that Bronny James got drafted, glad for the kid. Very happy. Is he ready to play in the NBA? Absolutely not. But good for him. He got his call now. I hope he does well. But all the other knuckleheads in this group, ridiculous. Rich Paul, as I said last night on Sideline Sports, we're on social media. Come talk to me. I want to hear how you tell everyone how you run the NBA. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you. LeBron, you're an over-the-hill superstar who can't play GM because your team doesn't win. The only win you have is a fake championship in a bubble since you've been in LA. You got Glass Joe as your center who can't stay healthy, gets the most ridiculous injuries. And now your poor son's going to be scrutinized for life because he's your son and you got him drafted. Instead of letting him go back to school one more year, maybe earning a spot in the league. The whole thing is a sham, and Rich Paul is the leader of the sham here.
I'm going to say something here right now. I'm glad I came up with a topic that forced JB Ellis to rant, because that was a good rant, Ellis.
Oh, it kills me.
This guy got his goat, man. Hold it. This guy got his goat. And for all of you, if you don't get nothing else out of this show, go back to Ellis's segment, for crying out loud. This was awesome, baby.
Oh, it's just a horrible situation, though.
Yeah, but it's a better situation that you're ranting about it. It's even better. This topic was ideally made for you. All right, good job, Ellis. I'm proud of you, pal. This was awesome, man. All right, Icord, I will tell you right now, you have a tough act to follow after what JB just put out there.
I can't follow that too well, I tell you.
Seriously.
But Ron, yeah, I mean, you hit on all the right points there, KB. You really did. I mean, this kid's going to be under so much scrutiny. He's got to play defense. He's got to be a good defender if he wants to make it in this league. His dad, the whole thing smells. I'm sorry, but it does. I agree with you, JB, on that, because orchestrating this is just nonsense, just total nonsense. That you saw what the Lakers did this past year. Nothing. They couldn't do anything. So now they bring in the superstar's son, and the superstar is the fading superstar. Sounds like a little Rocky movie or something to me. It has the making of. I mean, what's going to happen next? Oh, of course, they're going to get all these national television game dates. You know that. ABC, ESPN, and all the other networks carrying the NBA, they're going to put the Lakers on even. They didn't have to add more games with the Lakers, but they will. And then the other thing is the fact that, is he even ready for the NBA? Like I said, unless he learns how to play defense well, I don't think he's ready right now. We'll see how much time. Is it JJ Redick, the new coach?
Yeah.
We'll see how much time. They're going to play him, his son, and then we'll see how it goes. But boy, oh boy, talk about pressure. Oh, you're not only playing in the NBA, but you're playing for the next year old man who taught you everything. But it's going to be hard. It really is for him to succeed. I mean, the thing is they got to probably take him in the lineup gradually, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure what this Lakers team is going to look like. Really, win loss. Yeah.
All right, Candy, why don't you put Walter's latest one? Now we've got two of them, so let's go ahead and put them both up. And you can even read them too, Can.
A franchise who didn't have coaching staff until today, the Bronny Stuff Clown Show, plus LeBron. If they win, it's because of him. If not, it's y'all. Why would anyone want to go there? Even Rocky's kid didn't fight. He had to adapt Tommy Gunn.
That's true. Yeah, this Walter Mitchell is good, man.
This Walter's on a roll, man. Bring him on. We need this guy in. I'll extend the crew here occasionally if I have to put Walter on here. This guy is, you might as well say he's on the air. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Exchange. Got Scott, Candy, Joe, George, and Walter. How about that? Sounds good. All right, Candy, take off. Funny.
Okay, so nepotism.
That's a good word.
Back in the 2010 U.S. Census outlined just how extensive nepotism is in the country. It said that 22% of men whose fathers were present in their teenage years will work for the same employer simultaneously as their fathers. And that was back in 2010. And we're advance it to 2024. There isn't a part of society where you don't see it. Donald Trump's administration was full of family members and lackeys. He took nepotism to the level that no one has ever seen before. The NFL has tons of nepotism. Let's face it. Shedeur Sanders plays for his father, Dion, at Colorado. Austin Rivers played for his father, Doc, while they were still both at the Clippers. So this isn't the first time we've had things. Yes, it's the first time they've played on the same team. Now, LeBron signed a 2-year. Whether he's going to make it the 4 years that Bronny signed for, I don't know, because he's not as young as he used to be. They're saying now that Rich Paul, James's agent, is reportedly still discussing the possibility of the 39-year-old taking approximately $1 million less than his max salary, and that would keep the Lakers below the new second apron in the CBA, allowing them to avoid strict roster building restrictions for tax-paying teams, such as prohibiting combining multiple outgoing salaries in trades. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But as much as I don't like LeBron, this isn't the first time some things like this have happened. Nepotism happens all over.
All right. The only thing I'm going to say about the topic, Joe Ellis hit it right. The only thing he probably missed, maybe he was thinking about letting me do it. That's why he kept it out. If Danny Ainge was a GM of the Celtics, he would have picked him, period. Because we all know that Danny Ainge's hatred toward the Lakers goes deep. He really does. Now, that's item number one. Number two, when you put it all in perspective, what happens to second round picks? Normally they're stashed overseas anyways. This is the only one that isn't getting stashed for obvious reasons. So you know what? To me, the fact that he's getting paid this amount of money, I don't care about LeBron James taking $1 million less. As they always say, who cares? And no, Joshua Dore, I agree. Somewhere along the lines, somebody said, I thought no politics on here. There probably isn't. I don't even know where you heard it, but it won't matter. But I'll say the only politics I have is a politics that, to me, are not very good, is the fact that Bronny was either going to play in the Valley of the Sun or he's playing it with the Lakers. Now, I will say this as of today, some new developments about that coaching staff. Scott Brooks has been named to the coaching staff. He's got like 12 years of experience under J.J. Redick's staff, and Nate McMillan, who's got, I believe, 19. So he got over 30 years on that coaching staff to go in addition to who they were. I think Dwayne Casey actually turned that job down as well to stay in Detroit. So there'll be a little bit of experience on here, but it's going to take a whole lot more experience than that to straighten out that mess that they call in Los Angeles. But the reality of the whole situation, that Danny Ainge would have taken him. He wouldn't care if he went to Australia. He wouldn't care if he went to China or wherever. Danny Ainge would have stuck it to him. All right, Candy.
So I have a question for the panel. How much pressure does that put on Bronny? Because could you imagine not only following in your father's footsteps, but playing with your same father, and your father's considered this NBA great, and you're going to be expected to be following him and doing as good. Could you imagine playing on the same team as your father on anything? Like, let's say.
So I bowled with my father in a bowling league, and he was better than me at it, and I tried to learn, but he wasn't the greatest bowler of all time, or considered one of the greatest bowlers of all time. And I wasn't where it was a fun league, so anybody could bowl. This is the NBA, and unfortunately, this kid's not ready. The poor kid had a heart attack last year while playing in college. So besides physically, he's not ready. His game's not there. And I mean, I want to see him succeed. Since we've started doing this, I don't root for athletes' failures anymore, because now I know many of them personally. And, most of them are good people. I'm sure if I met LeBron, he's probably a good person. So, me not liking his game, that's one thing. But I don't want to see the guy fail, and nor do I want to see his son fail. But I just don't think he's ready. And I think that's a spot that could have went to somebody else. And it was orchestrated. That's, I think, what bothers me more than anything. If it would have been like, well, we hope to get him if he's there, and nobody spoke about it. If Rich Paul would have kept his mouth quiet the week before, it would have been great. But he had to start. I think it started like on Monday or Tuesday that week. That I run the Lakers. If I tell them to do it, they're going to do it. And then he's telling other teams not to draft him. He's going to go to Australia. You can't do that. And where is Adam Silver? This is your league. It's not Rich Paul's league. You are the commissioner. Step up. That would never happen in the NFL. Imagine if Scott Boras, Lee Steinberg, any other agent would do that in any other sport. It wouldn't be allowed. When Eli Manning got drafted by the Chargers, he didn't want to play there. He still got drafted by the Chargers. It was up to them to work out a deal to get rid of him. It wasn't, okay, we're not going to take you because, he was the best available pick. They took him, and then they found a way to trade him. You don't get to decide where you go in a draft. That's not how it's done.
Right. Yeah. And I alluded earlier to that. I told about the pressure that you mentioned, Candy. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the kid, and he's not ready yet. Obviously, we know that. But the fact of the matter is his dad will probably be helping him along the way. Obviously, he'll be like a second coach to him, which he already is. But there's no way that he wants to see his boy fail. And it's going to be hard. It is going to be a lot of pressure on him. No question about it. No question about it.
All right, Candy, let's go to the comments up with Walter, starting with Austin, and read them down the line, please.
Austin was drafted not by his dad. Major difference. College, it's more accepted to play with your dad.
Okay.
So we have $500 million for one final and 2 conference finals. Maybe LeBron should give the Lakers a favor. He bent over for him since he got to LA.
Okay.
I'm not worried about the pressure on him. He's going to the treatment like the Ball brothers.
That was good.
Don't forget LeBron put a target on his back with his tweets about his son's ability in high school. And then only Christopher roots for athletes' failures.
All right. Well, yeah, we're going to get to that one. I like this one, Joshua. That's good. The only thing I'm going to say about this whole thing is this, okay? To me, and I mentioned the fact that most second-round picks go ahead and get stashed. I personally am more concerned about his heart, like Joe alluded to. It wasn't long ago they were talking about the kid having a heart attack. And, LA, that word is synonymous with Hank Gathers, okay, being a young college student, Royal Marymount. So, do I think he'll have the support around him? Yeah, he will. But the reality is I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. But the way that this whole thing was orchestrated to me was pretty weak. All right, well, yeah. Joshua Door's been actually waiting patiently, so we got to give it to our buddy here. Okay, so we do have 2 hockey segments back to back. The Florida Panthers Edmonton Oilers Game 7 was second most watched NHL game in 20 years. It averaged 16.3 million viewers across North America, according to the NHL. All right, you know what, George, we'll go start with you on this.
Well, yeah, how does that compare to other sports, though? I mean, I'm happy for the NHL. I mean, I didn't think that they had a snowball's chance in hell, really, of drawing any kind of numbers on this series. And I'm just being honest with you. My gut was telling me, because I know Connor McDavid. Okay, I know he's a superstar. However, nobody else knows much about anything when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. And the fact of the matter is you gave away one of the American cities that would have been the host city, obviously, if it was 2 American teams playing. But I think what really rescued them, obviously, was the name of Connor McDavid, and also the fact that this series went from being a blowout to something really special, as we know. And Scott, my hat's off to you, my friend. You called it 7 games. You are the winner on this show and a few other shows you probably were on, but you're the only one I know that called that for Panthers in 7. I went with Panthers in 6, as did a lot of other people, some even Panthers in 5. But I'm telling you, I mean, the numbers are good, not as anywhere near good as you'll see for the NBA and MLB, and of course, nowhere near football numbers. But the fact of the matter is they got a good series out of this, and now you have good Stanley Cup finals.
All right, let's go back to Joshua Door's comment. Panthers are gaining a lot of traction and stuff. No doubt about it. Right now, they've been playing the best of any of the 4 teams you have here. And let's start. The Marlins haven't done anything lately. They did have a playoff appearance a year ago. And, of course, they had another one during the pandemic. So the Marlins have sniffed the postseason. The Dolphins haven't won a postseason game in ages. And who am I missing? The Miami Heat have always been pretty steady as well. They have a great front office. So, but yeah, right now the Panthers, I think, are unquestionably the best thing you have going in South Florida for sure. There's no debating on that. Let's continue with Joshua's comments. The guy's on a roll tonight. McDavid is the best player in the world. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. Walter Davis does help that ESPN is back in the NHL market. Come on, Zach, Hyman, and Leon. Some of us love hockey. Okay, then Joshua Door, I went with Panthers in 5-6. Well, okay, that may be the only thing you got wrong, Josh, but you got the championship. It doesn't matter. It's not the NBA, MLB, whatever. The parade was packed. It was, from I hear, soaked, but we were in North Carolina. We wouldn't know anyhow. And Walter, you have to give ESPN time to ignite the masses. Doesn't help in the 90s, you had powerhouse clubs. Yeah, we aren't going to go ahead and question that, are we, George? Considering one of them was the Detroit Red Wings. So,
yeah.
And Booth hasn't played in a long time. All right, well, I knew this was a lightning rod subject. That's why it's on here tonight. Candy, some thoughts about the fact that the North American situation worked out well. I mean, Edmonton's a very passionate place. I think you might have gotten comparable numbers had the Vancouver Canucks made it, because that's one of the largest cities in the in Canada. But go ahead, Candy.
So the 2024 Stanley Cup, saw an increase of 60. Let's see, playoffs across ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC averaged 1.8 million viewers and 724 viewers 18 through 49, which was an increase of 60% and 46%, versus the 2023 Stanley Cup playoff average, which was up 14 and 19% off 2022. So it's gaining traction. It's getting traction, and let's face it, we're talking about Edmonton Oilers and the South Florida, the Panthers. We're not talking the LA market. We're not talking a New York team where you get all those viewerships. You're talking teams that don't have the same reach, but yet look at the viewers they had. It was a good. Well, I shouldn't say it was a good series, because I would say some games were very one-sided, but hockey is gaining ground, and that's a good thing. Just like WNBA is gaining ground with viewerships. I like the fact that we are supporting more of these, what should I say, the non-traditional and NFL, NBA, and MLB. They always have had viewerships. But some of these lesser-known sports are gaining traction, and that's what I like.
All right, let's talk about hockey in Florida. I actually had an interesting chat with a podcast that's on that I found out about, and they may be guests on another show, but I have to talk to some of their people first. First and foremost, the Tampa Bay Lightning got things going in the Sunshine State with the fact that they won championships. But the one thing I'm going to say about the Florida Panthers, and one of the reasons I actually thought they were going to win the whole thing, was this, and I'm only going to say it one time. When you lose the year before in the finals, it wears on you for an entire year. So the Panthers came out under Paul Maurice. And bear in mind, last year they backed into the playoffs, knowing that they barely got in. This year, there was never any doubt. Bobrovsky had an unbelievable year. Matt Tkachuk, I don't have to get into all that. But when you lose the final series the first time, you go back at it, you're hungry the second time. And what do you know? The Florida Panthers ended up winning. Now, unfortunately for Panthers fans, the exodus comes where a lot of players are going to get more money on the open market. You just have to open play that you don't lose too many players. But you know what? Panthers have a good front office. I think they'll definitely be a contender to at least defend their Stanley Cup. All right, let's go back to Joshua Dorr real quick. Unless anybody has anything to add, I have one other hockey. I
haven't go on this one yet.
Go ahead. Well, then go ahead, Joe.
So, yeah, I mean, anyone that didn't watch Game 7 missed one of the best sporting events of the year. First of all, the NHL playoffs is by far the best playoffs. Other sports may be more popular. I may like baseball the most. I enjoy watching basketball more than hockey, and football we talk about nonstop. But when it comes to playoffs, nothing is better than the NHL. Right. And a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup, especially after a team was down 3-0, the fact that it only got 16 million is pretty sad. I don't care if it was, the two smallest market teams in the league. It should, if it was Arizona and whoever, that should have been higher. Millions of people missed out on one of the best sporting events of the year. Even if you're just a person that enjoys watching hockey once a year, this was the game to watch. And if you never watched hockey, what better time to start? So it's a shame that the numbers were down, but hockey's got to put in the work to try and build its fan base, and they got to promote their stars. I mean, even though Florida won, there was nothing appealing about what Florida did to catch someone that's not a hockey fan. If you turned on the game and you're not a hockey fan watching Florida play, you're going to be like, eh. Watching what Edmonton tried to do was exciting. That's why I like West Coast hockey. But, knowing about hockey, what Florida did was genius. But if I just turned it on and I had no clue what was going on, I'd have been bored out of my mind. But, they did play the better game, and I'm glad they won. But, I think that's part of the problem. The dump and chase game is kind of boring. And they were physical, but they weren't hitting hard. It was weird. But, you're 100% right, Joshua Dorr. But, to catch the casual fan that, doesn't watch hockey all the time and doesn't know much about it, you need offense. Offense sells.
Okay, let's go back out to a series of chats here. Okay, Candy start. They kept their core and bring them down. Go ahead. What are you going to add to it?
I do want to add that years ago, the Panthers paid people to come in attendance to some of their games. They had horrible attendance. But for the first time in their franchise, with all the extra games that they played in the playoffs, they actually surpassed 1 million fans through their stands this year. So that is a great accomplishment.
That's awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
Now we'll find out if it's sustainable. All right, go back to all these comments that are up there, and then we'll address them, and then we have another hockey topic. I saw a game. If you're going to go that fast, Candy, you got to read them. I don't talk that fast.
Okay, and a small market team like the Panthers, winning definitely helps grow the sport. We agree, Joshua. Dusty Brady, I saw at a hockey game in 2011. Booth.
Okay, keep it rolling.
I'm an original from Jersey.
Okay. Jersey.
Jersey. Right. Now that you just mentioned New York, which is nearby there.
Okay.
Panthers have been booming since the new ownership took over. Can't judge the franchise. Prior to that, ownership was awful. They kept their core. And let's face it, Scott, it is hard once you win the Stanley Cup. Normally, your best players, it's going to be hard to keep everybody. All teams can't be like the Celtics who have secured all their top 5. But
breaking news. The Red Wings took one of their Stanley Cup champions today. 2-year contract with Tarasenko.
Yes,
there you go.
Joshua, no doubt, JB. Can potentially be a long time before we see another Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals. Numbers were up, weren't they? That's because in hockey, nothing is given. You can have an 8 seed beat a 1 seed. In other sports, usually that's not the case. Defense does win championships. They've said that for all sports. Defense wins championships. Rebecca hit a duck.
Okay, I don't know about that. So
they had to overpay star players to come too. Now they're getting players at discounts because they want to play in Florida.
Well, it doesn't hurt, Joshua. There's no state income tax in Florida either. But yeah, I get your
point. Way to go, Florida Panthers. Then breaking news: the Wings paid a lot for Tarasenko.
That's okay. They got
He's
the
a
money.
hell of a player, though. Wish he stayed with no cap space.
There you go. That keeps you up to date. Well, all right. So I love the chat room. Keep it rolling here on this pre-4th of July. With that said, we'll continue to roll here as we do have another topic, and this one's a real historical one, I should say. Seattlekraken made Jessica Campbell the first woman behind the bench and will be the first ever full-time assistant on an NHL bench. I'm going to lead off with this one. This is unbelievable. Dan Bylsma's the new coach. This woman here coached. She was his assistant coach over, what we call their AAA team, down there, and did an unbelievable job. So I'm glad that Dan Bylsma took the step to bring her on board. And you know what? To me, this is important that we see females that know an awful lot be elevated to positions like this because they can only do nothing but grow the game. We see females doing play-by-play and color analyst, no problem. But now you've got one that knows hockey real well. And all I can say, Jessica Campbell, I'm glad you made it to the NHL, and I hope you stay there for a while. God only knows when we're ever going to see an NHL head coach, but I'm more than happy to settle for the fact that we have one behind the bench as an assistant. All right, well, we'll start off with the woman on this crew. Go ahead, Candy.
Kudos to the Kraken for hiring. One of the things that I would like to point out, though, is as much as I'd like to see female coaches in there, and just like black coaches in the NFL, I hope they did it because she honestly earned it. Like, I don't want to see somebody get it because, oh, she's a woman, or, oh, we need to, I want the best person for the job to be hired. And I'm not taking away from her. I hope she is the best person, and kudos to her, because to break the barrier and break that down and to be able to be the first to allow others then to follow in her footsteps is great. But again, I just want to make sure that it's earned, and it's earned the right way. We have heard so many stories of other things, and like we were just talking about nepotism with LeBron and stuff like that. I just hope that, and I hope she does really well. I mean, good luck to her. I hope she, she's broken down one barrier and the sky's the limit.
All right, before I put Joe on here, I've been reading up on this for a while when they were talking that it could happen. But everything I've heard about Jessica Campbell is this woman has earned her promotion to the NHL. She had more than qualified. So I believe that this was an integrity of hire of tremendous integrity is what I'm trying to say. Because I'll tell you one thing, Dan Bylsma is a coach that I actually was hoping the Red Wings would actually hire. It didn't work out, but the Kraken got themselves a good coach with Dan Bylsma. And now Jessica, to me, has an opportunity to do some pretty good things. So I don't hear any question this one's earned. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Well, I mean, first of all, with a last name like Campbell in hockey, that's a no-brainer. That's a synonymous name. Back in the day, it was the Campbell Conference, if I'm correct.
Look at this guy.
But listen, if she was an assistant coach in the farm system, she's already knows the coach's system. She worked with them before. To me, that's all saying things that she earned it. I'm happy for her. Congratulations. To me, it's sad that we still have to have firsts like this. If a person gets hired, it's just like that person got hired. The fact that we're in 2024 and hockey's been around this long and this is the first time it happened, it's crazy. If someone's qualified, they're qualified. Color of skin, race, religion, none of that matters. Do you know hockey? That's all I care about when I'm looking to hire somebody. And if you're the best person, you're good.
All right, Walter Mitchell, you're absolutely correct. Dan Bylsma was an assistant for the Wings under the last staff. I believe it was under, I'm trying to remember the name, Jeff Blashill. So, yeah, he was under Blashill's staff. I thought he was going to have the heads up. All right, George, what's your take on Jess?
Well, the league has had an issue and a problem, unfortunately, over the last several years, and that is their bad record sometimes with players and mistreating women. We've seen it in the NFL with the Washington Redskins, and we've seen it in hockey. And, Quinville was involved in part of the allegations and all this going around. So there is definitely a lack of females in leadership roles in hockey that has to be addressed. It has to get better because these ladies are doing a fantastic job. Look at Team USA. Look at Team Canada in women's hockey, how great they've done, and tremendous results in the World Cup and in the Olympic Games. And, a lot of great talented players, but also brilliant minds. These ladies know how to play the game. They know the sport inside and out. And many of them are going, like you said earlier, Scott, some of them into the broadcast booth. Some of them we've seen it in Detroit and other cities, a lot of female hockey writers. We're blessed in Detroit with Helene St. James. We were earlier blessed by Cynthia Lambert at the Detroit News. So I've seen the growth of hockey, and I've seen how females, ladies are really, really intelligent and obviously very attuned to the game and to the sport. Let's face it, it's been male dominated for decades and decades, on and on. It gradually we see some signs, but boy, Campbell becoming this assistant coach, I'm all the more power for her. I'm very happy for her, and I think it's a great move by the Seattle Kraken. I'm really happy about it.
Hey, George, I want to make one thing very, very clear, and I think this is really important that we stay on track because sometimes you tend to drift a little. In this case, I think it went a little bit too quicker. Joel Quenneville is not something we're going to talk about tonight. We might address it at a later date because I understand the recent news there, but it's not something I'm going to get into on this night. This is more because it did, as Joshua George said, okay, it didn't have anything to do with a woman, if I remember correctly. Of course you do remember correctly, Josh. That's why I'm bringing it up. So, I know that, George, you're pretty intelligent, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, the reality is this conversation is all about Jessica Campbell and the Seattle Kraken is what it is, not Joel Quenneville, okay? And, of course, Walter Mitchell, says Quinville had another issue other than Kyle Beach. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, again, that'll be a future on a future episode. So I just want to make sure that what we try to do is stay on point. We have a lot of good things that we're talking about. We're on a really good roll, and we have a couple topics that are going to get you hungry in about a moment. But let's go ahead and talk about Puffin Penguin. I remember when there was a female goalie on Tampa Bay Lightning for a game or a lockout. That was called Manon Rayon, by the way, who was actually an analyst for the Red Wings, Puffin Penguin. So, yeah, good stuff. So, all right. Anybody else comment on this that haven't commented on this? Or are we good?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're all right. Puffin Penguin. I'm sitting on a grin and tonic and listening to the show. Glad to be here. Glad to have you here, Puffin Penguin. But now I'm starting to get a little bit hungry, but it's my fault that I am. Nathan's will not allow Joey Chestnut. And I can't keep a straight to compete in the 2024 hot dog eating contest after Chestnut signed a 4-year, $1.2 million deal with Impossible Foods, a vegan food company. Bear in mind, okay, that Chestnut was paid $200,000 for his appearance on last year's contest. Now, I want to dedicate this show to Fred Ebling because he was a great math teacher in his day. So, Dad, as you rest up in heaven, I have to make sure I go out there and mention this. Is $1.2 million greater than 200K? I would say yes. And he'd say, yeah, you finally got one right. Put the duct tape on your mouth and start stunning again. So, yeah. With that said, okay, go ahead, Candy. I think the ratings are going to take a hit because they didn't put Joey on there. But what do you think, Candy?
Last month, Chestnut announced on social media that he had been banned from the annual event, claiming he learned of the decision by Major League Eating along with the rest of the world. Major League Eating said Chestnut would not be able to compete due to his affiliation with plant-based hot dog brand Impossible Foods. I get that. I mean, it's a contest. They have rules. You have to follow the rules. Let's face it, if you're playing in some tournament, let's take Wimbledon for instance. You have to wear all white. You can't wear different colors. So it's your contest. You have the right to make the rules up. And let's face it, Joey Chestnut has been in that contest for how long? So he knew the rules going in. So he decided it was more important to take money, which, hey, I'm not going to begrudge him at all. I would take the money and if you believe in the company that is sponsoring you and paying you, there should be no gripe. Nobody should be complaining because everybody has a right to do their contest and run the contest the way they want to and have representation the way they want to. Joey knew that going in and he made his decision. He'd rather sign with this company and get paid lots of money instead of going in that contest. There'll be other contests that he'll be in.
Oh, no, yeah, all right, great segue. Okay, all right, so go back to Joshua Dorr. This guy's smoking tonight, boy. I'm boycotting the hot dog eating contest. Not a good one up, Joey. Duh. Yeah, you're right. That's just funny. Joey or nothing. Yeah, keep going, Joshua. You're rolling again, brother. Let's see what else we got. He is the contest. That's true. Boy, is he really going crazy. I like these chats. I think they're almost bordering around comical. In fact, they are comical. Joey is a goatee. All right. Noted. All right. There we go. Look at this. What is it? 1.2 is a haul. And you're right, Candy. Rules are rules. All right. Well, that's all right. Go ahead, George, and stay on point.
Well, I think that Joey made a big mistake also. I mean, he's the champion. He's been the champ for so many years. And obviously, sometimes he wants to go in a different direction to get a different, agent or contract or contest, whatever. So they're going to miss him, though, because everybody looks forward to seeing Joey in this contest every year on the 4th of July. But, hey, he's a big enough guy to make his own decision, make up his own mind on where he wants to go. And if this was a risk that he didn't know about, maybe, I don't know, but he still is going to be missed because, like I said, everybody's been watching and seeing if Joey Chestnut can repeat and be on the championship platform once again. So all the more power to him. I know, he wants to get more money or whatever, more notoriety, but they're going to miss him, and I think the whole event is not going to be as good without him.
What do you think, Joe? I know how much you love hot dog eating contest.
So the fact that this event took place from about 4 blocks from where I used to live for
Wow.
as long as I lived there, and I've only went there one time in person for the hot dog eating contest. The only time anyone thinks of the hot dog eating contest is July 4th. The only reason we're talking about the hot dog eating contest is because Joey Chestnut signed this deal. Who won that on the fact that he signed the deal? Beyond Foods won because now everyone knows that Joey Chestnut signed with them. Nathan's won because we've been talking about this for the last month. The ratings, they may be down a little bit, but I actually think they're going to go up because we've been talking about the hot dog eating contest for a month now when nobody even probably thought about it in June last year. When do you think about it? July 4th. So everybody in this situation's a winner. Then Joey gets to go against Kobayashi head-to-head on Netflix in September on Labor Day.
No, come on, now, don't do this to me, man. You're using the GMTA. You're killing me.
The hot dog contest and a hot dog contest. You know, and I mean, I hope that they're not eating plant-based meat because that's just not cool. You know, have the Nathan's hot dogs if we're going to do it, but I don't know how they're going to do that.
Well, and I think the ratings might go way.
Wait, Candy. Wait, I'm having a Fred Sanford moment because of Ellis. I am. And if Marie Shepard is out there listening and she never knew who Fred Sanford's son, she found out on Candy's birthday another time for another day. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, no, yeah, we still have to get to the next 7 minutes. But how can you do that to me, Ellis? That's okay. Go ahead, Candy.
The ratings might go way up now because we all know Joey's not going to win because he's not in the contest. So who's going to win?
All right, so here, I'll just say this. The best hot dogs and bratwurst that I've ever had over at Miller Park in Milwaukee, hands down, I'm done with this topic. But what's going to end up happening next July 4th is that the ratings do take a collapse. I can foresee Joey Chestnut back on there after Nathan's is spelled backwards, and I'm not even going to attempt to do it because that'll really make me look worse than I am. Well, actually, I will. Nahtan. Tan. Okay, that's what. If I spell it backwards. Let's go back to the chat room since we're having Ellis, you're killing me, but I love when you do that anyways. It's okay. All right. So anyways, Dr. Lord, 1.2 million over 200,000. I think he made a mistake. All right, go ahead. Somebody else read these.
6 years of hot dog eating contest in that payday. George, he has to maximize his money. It's not like he was going to clear that type of money. I think you all said he made 200K. 200 times 4 is only 800K. Ben eating glizzies for free. Imagine getting paid for it. Ben is the ultimate glizzy guzzler and has to buy his own hot dogs. Who cares who wins if it's not Joey?
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a contest, we're all going to be there. Let's face it.
Well, not me. I'm going to be at the Marlins in the game. I don't care. I mean, but it's newsworthy. But yeah, Ellis, you might as well start where you finished there, Ellis, because now you obviously had read my mind. So let's go ahead and pick. This is JB's topic, okay? Albeit, all right. So Joey Chestnut to face Takervkobayashi. Kobayashi. Don't forget that name because he's been involved in these two on Labor Day. Hot dog battle. These two have won a combined 22 mustard belts at the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. Will face off in an all beef hot dog battle against each other on September 2nd in an event that can be streamed on, you guessed it, of course, Joe Ellis gave it away, Netflix. All right, Joe, we're going to start with you since you more or less got it going ahead, but go ahead.
It's just crazy. I mean, we're bringing back the old guy that won before Joey, and we're bringing Joey back who beat the old guy. He got banned. They're going to make I'm sure, a whole series about it with the history, and we're all going to watch all this hot dog stuff, and then we're going to watch the contest to get sick because it's sickening to actually watch. But good for Netflix. Way to find content that's probably cheaper than putting on a show.
All right, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. This is great. Our show, when we talk about it going everywhere, we have a great comment from Kim J. Hello from Korea. I love the show. Kim J, you made my day. So if you would kindly be a subscriber to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, that would be better. But that goes to show you these shows go everywhere, folks. So Kim J, thanks a lot. Hope you subscribe, and God bless, my friend. So go ahead. Now, George.
I think I agree 100% with Joe. This is a tremendous coup by Netflix, and obviously there are going to be ramifications, and people will be watching, September. So they're wise in making a decision that they've made. And Joey's going to be on TV after all, maybe not July 4th, but Labor Day weekend instead. Don't forget, though, he's got a lot of competition that weekend. It's called college football.
It doesn't matter. Seriously, George, you're really having a bad night tonight to compare that to college football. Seriously? All right, That's okay, Josh.
That's the sports competition I'm looking at.
All right, well, that's okay. All right, go ahead, Candy.
Major League Eating announced its slate of competitors for Coney Island without Chestnut for July 4th. So for his part, Chestnut announced he will spend July 4th at a holiday celebration at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, where he'll take part in a hot dog eating contest against 4 soldiers at the base. The 4 men combined will try to beat Chestnut alone in a 5-minute contest. The event will be streamed on Chestnut's YouTube channel. So let's see who's going to get more viewers, Chestnut's YouTube or the 4th of July contest. And of course, a much bigger competition awaits at the end of the summer. Shortly after news broke that Chestnut would not be at Coney Island, Netflix announced a live special on Labor Day, pitting Chestnut against Kobayashi. It will be the pair's first competition since 2009.
Kobayashi, by the way, Candy. I think I could get him. That's all right. Candy, why don't you go out there and let everybody know on the broadcast here what you used to call Dunedin?
Dunedin.
Dunedin. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. And what about Sunoco, Candy? You had a good one for that one too.
Sunoco?
That's it. Look at this. This woman's on a roll here. Sunoco, Dunedin, or whatever.
I'm with Dunedin on that one. I vote for Candy's name on that one.
I would too. I just told her to mention me. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Joshua's got it. He'd like to see George Eichhorn in a hot dog eating contest against Scott Madnow.
Uh-oh.
Oh my!
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But it would be funny.
Well, I'm sure we'd probably do. We'd get some people to watch us. Now, pardon the ignorance here. Do they eat them with the bun or just the dog itself?
No, bun and everything.
Yeah, well,
there's different techniques.
They put ketchup or anything on it, or mustard?
They can. There's different techniques.
Different ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's different techniques. So some of them will dip the bun in water so it's easier to go down quicker.
Oh.
It's really just some will do it in beer. It's disgusting, George. It is the most disgusting thing to see in person that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's certainly not the most disgusting thing to talk about the day before it happens. It doesn't matter how many of us are going to watch. Hey, but you know what? I feel good. We got Kim J on here from Korea making his first appearance here, talking about it. So, good job, Kim J. All right, let's go ahead. So I like basketball and Dennis Rodman on the most. Someday I hope Bronny will come visit Korea. Let me tell you something, Kim J. I'm glad you brought that. Dennis Rodman and I were good friends during the bad boy days. He was one of my favorites I used to talk to in the locker room. Dennis and I, we were pals there, and him and I ended up going bowling one time. It was just unbelievable. We had a good time. We talked about my most unusual form, and we talked about his free throw shooting, and ended up he beat me the first game. I said, all right, I'll tell you what winner take all, and if I lose the next game, I'll go ahead and pay for the whole thing. If you lose, you pay for it all. Well, I came through in the clutch and beat him, and we still were laughing so hard, the two of us. But he was my favorite in the locker room. Whenever I needed something, Dennis is always there. Now, Bronny, well, I'm sure when the NBA is playing overseas, you're probably bound to get him there at some point. All right, Jonathan Hyde, Scott is a glizzy gobbler. Yeah, maybe I probably will. when I go out to Miller Park, Kim J, are people allowed to watch hockey in your country? Yeah, wait, why am I not surprised that Joshua would throw a comment like that in there? I don't know. We'll find out, but that was pretty interesting. So there you go, folks. They come from Korea to watch it. We get it out there. My people watch Rocket. All right. Interesting. Maybe one of these days I'll find a way to get cricket on here. I still don't know anything about it. And all those other sports. Hey, listen, we had cornhole on. Why not do that? And tonight it's all about hot dogs. Houston Rockets is what Josh is asking them. All right, Kim J, can you keep up with Joshua Dore? I think you're doing a pretty darn good job. All right, now Terry Osowski. Look at this guy. All right, Candy knows him. All right, go ahead. You know I know nothing about what you're talking about, but love these two people. All right, Terry, love you.
Right back at you, Terry.
Thank you. We love you too, JB, and I love you too.
Yes.
Look at this stuff. Great stuff, man.
You said two people.
Well, no, we don't know who Terry is. He's you ever met this guy? I've been trying to get him to come on the air for a while, but unfortunately he hasn't made the plunge into our world. But you know, there was a time when him and I were over at a Candy's party, and I said I used to call him the Chase Chicken. That's what I called him. Because that's where he worked at. And Terry, you know what? He handled it like a true pro. All right, so Labor Day is BC versus, yeah, I'm sure it probably is. And that is amazing, Scott. Oh, my God, look at this great show to find. And thank you for that story. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, I love telling this story. And if people are going to sit there, go ahead and talk about, you know, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, to me, belongs in the Hall of Fame because he did something that most people wouldn't even think about doing these days. It's called defense. And defense is a foreign language to this year's NBA. And when we talk about money in the hot dog eating contest, so we talk about NBA dollars, you talk about going from one extreme to another on the cash, this stuff we've done tonight. Joshua Dore's asking Kim J, what type of government does your country have? I'm not even going there with this one. So yeah, we put it in there, you know, and we'll find out exactly what Kim J is saying. I will take the fifth on it, and Candy will post it in the chat if we get it up on time. So this show was loaded with basketball. It was loaded with hockey and loaded with a lot of calories. With that said, you know, so I'm going to ask everybody around the horn, what are you doing on July 4th, JB Ellis?
Not much, just grilling some stuff at the house. Not exciting.
Okay, what about you, George?
We're celebrating my lovely granddaughter's birthday. She's a 4th of July sparkler, and it's always fun being with her on her birthday and locally here in Michigan.
All right, Candy, you can speak for both of us.
Well, you will be sitting in an air-conditioned, cushy press box while I will be down in the photo well taking pictures of the Marlins versus the Boston Red Sox game tomorrow.
Well, you know what? Walter Mitchell, got to get this. A great show. MVP is my grandson who took a nap so I can participate. You know what? I'll just go out there and call two MVPs, the grandkid as well as Walter. All right. And happy birthday to your grandkids. All I'm doing tomorrow over at the Marlins game is something called mental labor. I'm telling you. Mental labor, everybody. I love mental labor. You never know what comes out of my mouth. And again, Candy doesn't have to know. Once upon a time, I was interested in getting married on July 4th. It never worked out, but not complaining about January 1 whatsoever. So good stuff. So, yeah, we'll be at the Marlins and the Boston Red Sox. I love watching American League teams play here in South Florida. It really does. Kind of brings me back to my past a little bit. So, but meanwhile, what a show we've had tonight. We've seen some new faces in here. And you know what? I got news for you, Kim J. We hope that you come on more of our shows here. And to do so, once again, kindly please subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. And you'll see a lot of us as well as other people as well. So very proud of the participation we had on the chat room. More importantly, I want to wish everybody a happy July 4th out there. So with that said, Joe Ellis, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
SidelineSportsNet.com is the website that Candy designed. Sideline Sports on every Tuesday at 8:30. JB_ the program on X. Guys, make sure you subscribe. Go to the website. Definitely comment and let us know.
Okay, George Eichhorn, you're next.
Yeah, you can find me on the South Florida Tribune channel. I write for the Motor City Tribune. And then at the end of my column, there's a little tagline about my book, which I authored many years ago, called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. Scott's in the book, and so are many of our great Detroit sports people over the years. Candy's pointing to it right there. There's the cover of it. Thank you, Candy. You can reach me. You reach me on LinkedIn at George Eichhorn. You can reach me at gichorn@yahoo.com. And you can also find me on X at SandGSports99. And I'm also part of the baseball show, 108 Stitches, in addition to Sports Exchange, wherever Scott and Candy need me. I love this avenue. And I do want to apologize because I spoke out of turn about Mr. Quinville. I'm just going to leave it at that. So I want to apologize for that.
No apologies. That's all right. You're just thinking in the future. But I had to kind of have some fun talk there, Eichhorn, letting you know that. I mean, yeah, but we'll address that more often. But we have some pretty good stuff there. Happy Fourth to everyone, Joshua, especially Kim J. Kim J, you were awesome, buddy. All right, Candy, why don't you take us home? As my voice is probably about ready to hit the finish line. Go ahead and give us a final.
Tonight's episode was brought to you by the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company, which published a book back in November of last year called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by none other than our host, Scott, the Motor City Mad Mouth Morganroth. And it was the foreword was written by none other than George Eichhorn. There is a picture of young Scott with Muhammad Ali. And there are more pictures. If you are curious to see a young Scott Morganroth, go purchase the book. If you're interested in learning more about how the media business has changed over the 40 plus years Scott has been in the business, go get the book. If you want to hear more stories that Scott's told besides listening to him on these shows here, go get the book. Read the book. It is a great read. It is available on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Apple, Google Books. You can go to our website. You can read more of Scott's writing. www.southfloridatribune.com. George has wrote. JB has wrote. Candy is taking pictures. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Spotify, Castbox, Deezer, Geo7, any of those places, you can find us. Go listen. If you miss any of what I've said, or if I spoke too fast, I don't speak as fast as Scott does, but I try. You can see it scrolling around the bottom. Go back, rewind, catch it, check us out. But most importantly, Monday nights, we talk 108 Stitches baseball talk. Tuesday nights, Inside the Pigskin. Wednesday nights is Sports Exchange. Thursday nights is usually Fire Up. We are taking tomorrow, since it is the 4th of July, we are taking the holiday. We will not be on air. Typically on Wednesday nights, you can find Scott on the Motor City Mad Mouth Show, where he does a one-on-one interview show on nofilter.net. You just never know who he's going to be interviewing next. Watch for details. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. Our website again, www.southfloridatribune.com. We would also ask you to go over to Sideline Sports and subscribe to their YouTube channel. They have some awesome shows as well. Some of them are on the same time. So if you subscribe to both of us, you can watch one and then go after that show. Go watch the other show, whichever way you want to go. We love to have you. And go to their website, sidelinesportsnet.com. Twitter at Tribune South. I think I got most of it, Scott. Let me know how I did.
You did really well on this one. All right, let's go back to Terry Osowski. No substitute for experience. Good stuff. Joshua Dorr, look at this. Compliments all the way to Korea. Hope Kim J is back for another show. So do we. Love this show, Kim J. Well, we loved having you tonight. You were a breath of fresh air, and because of the power of streaming, we were able to get it out to our new friend out in Korea. Go ahead,
Kim. I will say, typically on Wednesday nights when we do Sports Exchange, it is at 9 p.m. Eastern. We did up it this week to 8 p.m. Eastern, but typically it's on at 9 p.m. Eastern. Just so you know in the future, because we would love to have you. And I want to thank everybody that commented in the chat room. It's great to have people in here and being interactive. We love all the chats.
Yeah, we thrive on that. And you're right. I mean, JB Ellis was very cooperative tonight, allowing us to go to the 8 o'clock spot because obviously one of their shows was off. And obviously, we've been on the road in North Carolina as I've been promoting my book, Lessons from the Microphone, as well. So every so often, I'll have to go out of town. And if I can't make shows, it's because I'm promoting that book in another market. And the one thing I'll say about Lessons from the Microphone is it applies to everybody, whether you're a student or whether you're looking for casual reading or just looking to learn about the media itself. This is a book that is what I consider a really good read. I put a lot of time and effort as well. So, yeah. So, and again, Candy said, I will try more. Love this. It's just BA. I don't know what that means, but I'm not sure what the exact words are. But, Walter, you were great tonight. You were great all the way around. So all I can say is it's been a fun show to do. And what else can I say? Look forward to doing it again at 9 o'clock Eastern time next Wednesday night, as well as the other shows we have on tap. But with that said, Candy, anything else you wanted to add real quick? I know you wanted
Walter
to.
was just saying it's hard with a 5-year-old. So that's where the 9 o'clock hour might be better, Walter. Just so you know, we typically do these shows again at 9 p.m. for the Sports Exchange, at least.
Yeah.
But we thank you for tuning in.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, and if you don't happen to see us live, you can always watch it on our YouTube channel. But Walter, I'll tell you, you're awesome, especially when you came after us with the basketball stuff. Look at this guy. Hey, Joe, if Basket Bros ever comes back again on this network, we're going to nominate Walter Mitchell to be one of the contributors.
There you go.
I will try to be here more. Sorry if I believe me, Walter, we appreciate it any way you can, pal. And we appreciate what you're doing with the child statistic as well. Meanwhile, awesome show all the way around. Glad to have it. And with that said, on behalf of Candy, JB Ellis, George Eichhorn, and yours truly, myself, the Motor City Madball, Scott, we'll catch you next time. Happy July 4th and the weekend, and we'll be as close to normal on our schedule next week. Good night, everybody.
Happy 4th. Be safe.
Happy 4th of July, Gus.